So guys, welcome to our channel once again. In today's video on our WAEC Biology Exam Revision Series, we have here these 15 questions to answer on the topic Biology of Hereditary. So guys, this video will be about application of the principles of heredity. So in short, stay till the end of this video. Let's go ahead and start with the first question here. So here we have a diagram and we are to use this diagram to answer the question. The question here says, what are the genotypes of the parents if the gene for skin color is H? So we have to consider these two parent animals. One is the spotted leopard and the other is the black panther. So if we observe the changes here, we'll consider that we are considering the phenotype and not the genotype. So the skin color is about the phenotype. So we have options. A, spotted leopard is homozygous dominant H, and then black panther is homozygous recessive H. B, spotted leopard is homozygous dominant H, and then the black panther is heterozygous H. And then option C, spotted leopard is heterozygous H, black panther is also heterozygous. Option D, spotted leopard is heterozygous H, while black panther is homozygous recessive H. So if you consider all these, the only situation here where you will have all the F1 generation showing phenotypically this color of spotted leopard is for option A. So if you have homozygous for a recessive gene from one parent and then a recessive gene, a dominant gene for the other parent. So all the F1 generation is going to show phenotypically that dominant character phenotypically, right? And then in the F2 generation, 3/4 of the character would still be that of the dominant in their phenotype, whereas 1/4 of it is going to be the recessive in their phenotype. So that's what you have here. You see three animals from here showing the dominant spotted leopard phenotype character, whereas the last one is phenotypically same as the black panther. So that's 1/4 for black and then 3/4 for the spotted leopard in the F2 generation. So guys, considering this flow, we know already that the spotted leopard is going to be homozygous dominant, whereas the black panther will be homozygous recessive. And that's it for this question. So let's go ahead and consider the next question. All right, so here in this next question, we also have a diagram here. The question says the diagram below is an illustration of a cross between plants A and B of the same species. It says here the process that gives rise to the F1 generation is A, self-fertilization, B, test cross, C, cross-fertilization, D, outbreeding. So guys, the answer to this question here is option B, and that's test cross. So let's consider the next question. Question number 3 here. It says, in which of the following is the knowledge of genetics not applicable? We have A, preservation of seeds, B, improvement of quality of yield, C, development of high yielding varieties, and D, development of early maturing varieties. So guys, the answer to this question is option A here, and that's preservation of seeds. Actually, the knowledge of genetics can be used in improving quality of yield. It can be used to develop high yielding varieties. It can also be used to develop early maturing varieties, but we don't actually make use of the knowledge of genetics in preservation of seeds. So that's it for that question. Let's consider the next question, question number 4 here. When two carriers of sickle cell anemia produce an offspring, the probability of the offspring being a sickler is A, 2 over 3, B, 3 over 4, C, 1 over 2, D, 1 over 4. Obviously, the answer to this question is 1 over 4. When you have carriers, they are just like heterozygous all through, right? So they will be heterozygous all through. So if you cross them, if you cross the whole of them, you're going to have 1 out of the 4 being a sickler. So that's it for that question. 1 over 4 is the chance of that. So let's consider the next question, question number 5. It says here, one of Mendel's experiments was repeated by crossing a red variety of pepper with that of a yellow variety, which produced all red offspring. Then the red offsprings were self-pollinated, and these produce both red and yellow pepper. The yellow color can be said to be A, heterozygous to red, B, homozygous to red, C, dominant to red, D, recessive to red. So guys, the answer to this question is recessive. That's option D here, recessive. So that's it. In Mendelian genetics, a trait that appears in the first filial generation when parents with both different traits across is said to be dominant, while the one that is suppressed or masked in the F1 generation but now appears in the F2 generation is the recessive. So that's it for this question. Let's consider the next question, question number 6 here. It says, paternity disputes could be resolved accurately through A, fingerprint, B, tongue rolling, C, DNA test, and D, blood group. So guys, the answer to this question is option C here, and that's DNA test. So let's consider the next question, question number 7. It says, which of the following traits may not be important in marriage counseling? A, color of skin, B, sex determination, C, rhesus factor, and D, sickle cell anemia. So guys, obviously the answer to this question is option A, and that's color of skin. So the next question here is question number 8. It says, crossbreeding is a way of A, developing disease-resistant varieties only, B, applying the principles of heredity in agriculture, C, developing superior varieties of animals only, and D, developing superior varieties of plants only. So guys, the answer to this question is option B here, and that's applying the principles of heredity in agriculture. So that's it for that question. Let's consider the next question, question number 9 here. It says, a male with heterozygous genotype for blood group B marries a woman with heterozygous A. What percentage of their children would be universal donor? So guys, having a heterozygous genotype for blood group B means it's BO for the man, and then the heterozygous for A means it's AO for the woman. So when you do a proper cross between these two, that's the BO and the AO, you're going to have that 1 out of the 4 will be homozygous O, and that's the universal donor. So the universal donor is a blood group O. So if it's going to be the universal donor, it's going to be that homozygous O. And then, guys, it's actually 1 out of 4. And 1 out of 4, out of the options given here, is 25%. So if you do 1 over 4 times 100, you're going to get 25%. And that's option D here. So let's consider the next question, question number 10. So we are back to this diagram again, and it says here, which of the following statements about the cross is correct? A, black coats and spotted coats are co-dominant. B, the gene for the spotted coat is recessive to the gene for the black coat. C, the genotype for the F1 are homozygous dominant. D, the gene for spotted coats is dominant over the gene for black coats. So guys, obviously the answer to this question is option D. The gene for the spotted coat is dominant over the gene for the black coat. And that's it for this question. Let's consider the next question. Question number 11. It says 2 unconscious patients X and Y whose blood group genotypes are AO and AB respectively were transfused with blood from the same donor. Patient X immediately showed signs of difficulty in breathing, while patient Y showed no negative reaction. Use the information above to answer the question below. What should the hospital have done to prevent patient X from showing the symptom described above? Patient X should have A, undergone malaria tests, B, been asked to be asked for the blood group, C, undergo an agglutination test, and D, being screened for HIV. So guys, the answer to this question is option C here, and that's undergo an agglutination test. The hospital should have performed an agglutination test on the patient X. So these tests helps to determine the blood group by mixing blood with antibodies that cause the blood cells to clump together. So if the antibodies are specific for the individual's blood type, this will actually occur. If that's not the case, then the blood will not clump. So these tests enables us to ascertain compatibility of the donor's blood to that of the recipient's blood. And if this test was actually done, the compatibility of the blood would have been obtained earlier on. So that's it for that question. Option C is the answer. Let's consider the next question. Question number 12. It says, according to Mendel's first law of inheritance, segregation of gene occurs when A, short plants are crossbred, B, tall plants are crossbred, C, tall plants and short plants are crossbred, and then D, plants are crossbred. So guys, according to Mendel's first law of inheritance, segregation of gene occurs when tall plants and short plants are crossbred, and that's option C here. So let's consider the next question. Question number 13 here. It says, which of the following represents Mendel's second law of inheritance. The factor for two pairs of contrasting character are A. allelomorphic, B. on homologous chromosomes, C. inherited independently of each other, D. dependent on each other. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, and that's inherited independently of each other. So here, question number 14, we're back to this diagram again. So it says here, if the F1 generation are plants with high yield and resistance, the genotype for F1 generation plants will be, so guys, the option here that shows the feature of being both high yield and resistance, where Y is the high yield and R is the resistance, it would be option B here, and that's the answer to this question. So let's consider the next and the last question. Question number 15 here, it says, plants suitable for experiments in genetics must not A. produce one generation in a long period, B. have small number of chromosomes, C. have a relatively short life cycle, and D. produce numerous seeds within short time. So guys, plants suitable for experiments in genetics should not produce one generation in a long period. So this is because in genetic experiments, we often require multiple generations to observe pattern of inheritance and genetic variation. So we actually need to get the first filial, the second filial generation, and that's if the plants take so much of long time to produce a generation, we will spend so much of time trying to obtain these, and that's not necessary in some cases. So the actual answer to this question is option A, and that's the plants suitable for experimenting genetics must not produce one generation in a long period. And that's it for that question, guys. And this is where we end this video for today. So guys, if you enjoyed this lesson, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not a subscriber. Also, if you have any specific question regarding this video, you can drop your question on the comment section below, and we'll ensure to give you a response. So we also want to encourage you to join our YouTube channel community, where we'll post major updates on WAEC examination. So we encourage you to do that by hitting the join button below, and we'll see you right there. So thank you once again for watching this video, and see you on the next one.